Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we'll see what is UiPath Auto-Healing and how bots can fix themselves. So let's get started. Automation is great until it breaks. So imagine a scenario where your bot fails due to a UI change, or a selector issue, or unexpected behavior, some unexpected application behavior, let's say. UiPath's auto-healing feature is designed to handle such situations intelligently, ensuring your automation continues running without any manual intervention or no manual intervention. In this guide, we will cover what is UiPath auto-healing, how does it work, step-by-step demo with example, licensing, how the licensing considerations will work, and then few best practices for implementing. So firstly, what is UiPath auto-healing? What is UiPath auto-healing? Auto-healing is a UiPath feature that helps bots recover from minor automation failures by dynamically identifying alternative methods to interact with UI elements. So this is basically what UiPath auto-healing means. So in production, if assume there is a bot which fails with selector changes, usually what will we do? We go to UiPath orchestrator, we go to logs, we check the logs, and then we find that it's because of some selector issue by error message. And then we go back to UiPath Studio, and then we manually use UI Explorer to recheck the selector and then compare and then fix it. So this is a long process, right? So what does UiPath auto healing do? It will automatically identifies the nearest selector for the failed one. It will identify the nearest selector, and then it will auto fix, and then it will continue the automation. So what it basically does, it's a feature that helps bots recover from minor automations, minor automation failures by dynamically identifying alternative methods. So simple. So it will dynamically tries to identify the current selector, and then it will replace, and then it will continue the bot. Next, why do we need auto healing? So mainly when application changes over time, let's say for example UI updates or selected modifications. So in that cases, you will need auto healing. Application When application changes over time, and bots may fail due to missing elements, right, or timeout issues. At that time, we need auto healing. Bots may fail due to missing elements or timeout issues. At this time, we can use auto healing. Also, when manual intervention slows down the process and increase the maintenance efforts. For example, just now I explained it. In production, a robot fails because of some selector issue. At that time, we need someone to check the logs and then compare the actual selector and then fix it, right? So that when you want to avoid those times, then you need auto healing. Slows down process and it increases the maintenance efforts. So at this time, to reduce this effort, we need auto healing. So that's why we need auto healing. Next, how does UiPath auto healing work? So, firstly, detection. When a UI related activity like click or type into UI related activity like click or type into For example, I'm taking these two, that it can be any UI related activity. When these fails, auto healing will start triggering. So when in the first step, detection. So how it detects when UI related activity, auto healing works only for UI related activities. So when UI related activity fails, then auto healing will start triggering, and it will find the alternative methods. And how exactly it will try to find? UiPath tries to interact with that element in different ways. So it will try to interact with that element in different ways. So what are those different ways? First one. So using different selectors. And what I mean by different selectors, if you have already aware of modern activities, UiPath modern activities, you might have already know fuzzy selector. So in simple words, instead of directly giving the static selector, if you keep it as a fuzzy selector, it will try to find the nearest match. So by using fuzzy selector and then by using image recognition and anchor based techniques. Next, execution. Once UiPath succeeds in finding an alternative method, it will execute that. Next, failure handling. If all fallback attempts fails, then the workflow logs an error as usual. Like it will, if it is not able to find with these alternative methods also, then it will usually the workflow will usually logs that error, like how the regular flow does. It will just log that particular error. So this is how auto healing works. It will detect, it will find the alternative method. It will, if once the fix is found, it will try to execute that alternative fix. If that fails, then it will usually, like usually, it will log that error. Now let's see how it works in practical. Let's go to UiPath Studio. So here I built a small automation. So what it does, it will go to Amazon. It will try to find the product which I gave. So I'll be giving a product name and then it will try to find that product in the Amazon website. And then it extracts all the items with its prices and then it will write that output into a Excel file. So simple automation. So we have a user interface activity, UI activity here, which is type into. So I'll first run this automation so it doesn't fail now. So and then we'll modify it manually and then let's see how UiPath Auto Healing will fix that. Now let's run the bot. So I gave iPhone 13. So it'll extract and then it'll write the range into Excel file. Simple automation. Let's see the Excel and we have the first two uh, products from Amazon and then we have its prices. Ignore if it is iPhone 14. So I'm just extracting everything. So now let's manually change the selector. So I'm not using fuzzy selector. I'm just using strict selector. And then here I'll remove, I'll type something else here. And then in text I'll something else. And then in class also, I'll write something else. Now I'll click on confirm. Now usually the process should fail. Let's debug again. See here, this particular type in activity failed. We'll stop the bot. Few things to remember here. We definitely have to use modern activities. So if you see here, modern activities will have multiple ways of doing the selector, strict selector or fuzzy selector or image or anchor based. So all these possibilities will be there for modern activities. So you should always use modern activities to make it to use auto healing functionality. Let's publish this process to orchestrator. Just process. So I have a new version here, update it, and then so when you start the process, you have to make sure that you enable healing agent here, and then enable healing agent self healing option. So you should enable these two before starting the process. So I'm just running this part now, and then it will run in my local PC itself. You can see the executor started. So it failed to type the selector, and then the healing agent started, and then healing agent it says it started analyzing the recovery. If you are using cloud already, you can use this auto refresh function. You just have to click drop down and then click on enable auto refresh. So it found an alternative target and then it is trying to execute the new target. Successfully recovered with that activity. It got successfully recovered with the activity. And then the process is done. So once it is done, you can see the healing agent part. So what happened? So it failed in type into all, which is this activity. And then this was the original selector, like the one which we manually modified the type and then tag and then class. And then it recommended like the tag is input. And here you can see the screenshots also. Like this was before healing. I mean, I've opened the orchestrator, right? That's why it is showing the screenshots. This was the actual screenshot. So the original selector has been auto healed, and it recommended this, and then it continued the automation without failing. So now it didn't just stop there. So I'm just closing this studio. I'll tell you why. So it's not just that. When you run the process and then it failed and then it auto found and then it continued. But how about adding that change to the UiPath Studio itself? Now you don't have to go to logs and then go to healing agent and then find the auto heal selector and then copy paste this into open studio and then do that there. So you can ignore that part also. All you have to do is go to autopilot section, click on open in studio, open in UiPath Studio. In enterprise case, so you will anyway have this orchestrator opened in the development machine, right? So at that time, if you open the studio, it will directly open in development machine. So click on open in studio, it's closing the door, and then here you can see autopilot. So the same thing which is shown in the orchestrator, here also you can see one of the one out of one error has been healed, and then you can see the affected activities, which is type into all. So you just have to click here, and then so this was the target selector which got affected, and it got changed to this one, right? All you have to do is click on apply. That's it. It will show. Then confirm, and then that change will be auto applied to that selector. If you see here, edit descriptor. Here you can see I wrote something else, right? So that has been fixed. Click on cancel. Like that, if you have many auto heals, I mean, here it's just one activity which failed. If you have many activities, it will be very easier. You just have to see the affected selectors, click on apply, 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 and then it will auto apply for all the selectors. Now you just have to republish it. See the new version, update, and now if you run the process again with enabling auto healing, this time as it already fixed, you should not see the failure. Execute started, opened, it'll write, then it'll extract, and then it'll close. That's it. If you refresh, so there is no auto healing happen because that selector is already got fixed with autopilot. So that's how easy now to auto fix or auto heal any of the production selector. Now let's talk about licensing and availability. Licensing and availability. So auto healing is available in UiPath Enterprise. If you are already using UiPath Cloud, you should already see the option during the starting of job. You should already see the auto healing option if you're using Enterprise Edition, and then it is part of UI automation package. Make sure you use the recommended UI automation package so that like it will do the auto fix also. So it is already available in Enterprise Edition and it is part of UI automation package. However, for Community Edition, the possibilities of auto healing capabilities are limited. You will get limited auto healing capabilities, and it requires, as I already mentioned in the development demo part, it requires modern UI automation techniques. This will this is highly recommended. This will lead to best results. So few final thoughts. Auto healing is a game changer. It can improve the reliability and it can reduce a lot of downtime in automation workflows. By implementing it correctly, you can make your bots self-recovering, and it will reduce your maintenance efforts, and it will increase the efficiency. Now it's your turn. Try enabling auto healing in your workflows and see the difference. If you need any help, just drop a comment below. And until that, happy automation.